So welcome to the more technical section of this Baitcaster training course. We've covered more of the general points, and now again we're going to deep dive into some of the technical aspects. Now the first thing we're going to look at is setting up your Baitcaster, and then we're going to dive a little bit deeper into braking systems. So before we look at how to cast your Baitcaster, the first thing here is obviously you've got your handle with your double knobs as we've discussed earlier with Chris, and then you've got your star drag. So the star drag can be adjusted by tightening and loosening this star drag. One of the things that I really like about the star drag on the Shimano reels is I can have it nice and tight for when I set the hook. I like to have a small amount of drag just as I set the hook, and then if I need to give the fish more line, I can use my finger to loosen this as I'm fighting the fish and then tighten it again with the back of my finger on the star drag.
Yeah, that's actually the most common way to do this, but I do it a little bit different. I close the drag as tight as possible so the fish gains no line at all, and if the fish needs line, I press the thumper and I control the line with my thumb, so I have a more direct feeling with the fish and I can fight it and have more control. But that's a little bit more of an advanced technique.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's the beauty of a Baitcaster, as we've said multiple times in this video, is it gives you more and more control. Now talking of control, how do you set up your reel for casting? There's a few things that you need to think about, and there's a few very obvious signs that you haven't got the reel set up properly, so we'll discuss those as we go, and then we're going to deep dive into the braking system. Now, I'm pretty sure Chris will agree with this, but you'll probably jump in on a few things. The first thing I would say as a beginner picking up a Baitcaster for the first time, you want to tighten your spool tension knob nice and tight, which is this knob on the side of the reel. Get that to the point where your lure is falling nice and slowly. Yes. Probably to the point where it touches the water and the spool stops spinning. So the spool will all the way down to the water, the lure will touch the water, and then this will stop without the need of using your thumb. Then I would say go slightly faster than that.
A little bit.
Yeah, just a touch faster than that, which will give your lure enough movement to be able to cast it. Then on the braking side of the reel, I would have your brake set to just over medium and go for a cast. Now we're going to go deeper on the brake, so don't panic. As that lure is going away from the rod and you're casting it out into the water, if you have a blow up at the beginning of your cast, your spool tension is running too fast. If you have a blow up at the end of your cast, you don't have enough brakes on the cast. So if you set it up, as I've just said, with quite tight spool tension and maximum brakes, you're going to probably have a cast that doesn't go that far, but it isn't going to blow up that reel. And as you get more advanced, I would say it's just about dialing back those settings. Is that correct?
It is. The more expert you go, the lighter the spool tension can be.
Yep.
So you can really be on that point that when you press the thumper, the spool wiggles just a little bit. So that's where the spool is completely free. You gain more distance, you gain more control, but you have to control the spool, otherwise you will get a backlash.
You will get a backlash. And like I said, if that backlash is at the beginning of your cast, it is related to your spool tension being too fast and you're not controlling it that well with your thumb. And if the backlash is at the end of the cast, it is because you haven't got enough brakes. Now, talking about brakes, we are going to deep dive into the braking system, so come with us.